So guys, there is this video I've been watching and I've learned a lot of things about it, and I'm not quite, impressed, I'm not really impressed because Oshomole, they carry fight like person where they join hands, If I wish Oshomole family see himself for where some of our families for don't see themselves, go they talk. And we will not forget, say this man don't rule Edo State, and at the end of the day, Edo State we are disappointed in him. So more are listening to you, waiting they come out for him mouth, because me I don't want to use my mouth to talk waiting they come out. Guys, more not forget, say una comment for this my page. For this my page here, it is very, very important.
Helm of affairs in Nigeria. Joining us now on this show as we review ways and means of resolving the nationwide protest and ensure that dialogue is explored in order to prevent anarchy is Senator Adams Oshiomhole, former governor of Edo State and the senator representing Edo North Senatorial District at the National Assembly. Good morning, Comrade Senator. Good to have you on the morning show.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ruben Abati. Pretty long time.
Quite a long time.
Although I watch you all the time.
We were expecting you yesterday, but it's good you are here today. Well, very quickly, what's your take on the state of the nation, the protests, and people talking about end bad governance, people talking about regime change, and the security agencies saying nobody under their watch will accept what they call regime change or the flying of the Russian flag within this territory called Nigeria. The president also has spoken. What do you think of his speech? Do you think he has met the protesters halfway, or is just the same tradition of making promises that hope will be renewed?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. Let me congratulate you for what you said yesterday. I watch you. I have always done that. It's always enlightening. Namely that it must be clear to everybody that the only way to effect a change of government is to go through elections as provided for in the Constitution. There is no room for regime change. There is no room for military takeover of government in Nigeria. We have gone under military rule for several years. If it was a solution since 1996 or till 1999, Nigeria would have been Eldorado. So for the courage with which you speak, you did this out of defense. I was quite pleased with that, along with your colleagues on this program. Now, on Wednesday, just on the 2nd of August, before the protest began, I saw many people, including some of your colleagues, calling for peaceful protest, emphasizing that the Constitution guaranteed the right to peaceful protest. I found myself in a very difficult situation because, Ruben, more than anybody else, you and I have interfaced even during protests in front of Guardian newspapers. I have led so many countless protests, whether in the public sector, in the private sector, at the national level. However, I did say then, that was on the 2nd of August, like, let nobody talk about peaceful protest. It is impossible. Why did I say that? Whereas I recognize the right to peaceful protest, which I exploited and I enjoyed it, I expanded it, I practicalized it. I also said, when you exercise those rights to protest, we must also look at what are the demands. And I'm happy that I said, after seeing, because these people are faceless, I look at the totality of the different voices we can put together from the social media, and I say my summary, my takeaway from it is that a lot of these guys are only hiding other hunger, other unemployment. What they actually ask is for is regime change. And I said you cannot legally, lawfully, and peacefully demand regime change under the Nigeria Constitution. And that those who have lost presidential election, those two candidates who spoke in favor of so-called peaceful protests, I have had the opportunity to interface with them when I was president of the NLC, and at different fora, each of these guys lectured me about the need to avoid, quote, miscreant, quote, hoodlums from taking over whatever we consider to be a legitimate thing. And I said, sociologically, it is absolutely impossible for an amorphous group, I emphasize amorphous, in the sense that, and it's not a degrading word, amorphous is that they are not organized, they are not structured, the faces are unknown, they talk from time to time, different guys talk, both within the country and outside the country. And so, who are you going to engage? And they are not accountable to anyone. They are not elected by anyone to whom they will report to as to at what point do we start, at what point do we stop, and where was the forum where they gathered to meet and agree on this demand. And my summary of it is that what they were demanding cannot be achieved peacefully, and it was illegal demand to demand regime change. Because also some of them say, for example, they want to revise a repeal of the 1999 Constitution. And I said, you cannot peacefully demand that because the power to change the 1999 Constitution, if that is what Nigeria wants, is not vested in the president of Nigeria. The only way to amend the Nigeria Constitution is as provided for in the Nigeria Constitution. That power is not with the executive. That power is not even with the federal legislature alone. That power has to be shared by both national and state legislatures. And a lot of eminent Nigeria, well-meaning Nigeria, even though I don't agree with them, have canvassed various ways whether we should return back to regionalism, whether we should report back to parliamentary system. All those are legitimate ways to express people's opinion. But I see confusion among the elite because it is this same elite, including a good section of the media, that celebrated Rotimi Williams' 21-man wise men who ordered the military after consulting Nigerians, quote and unquote, those Nigerians are the elite, the speaking class, those who are invited to conferences, who told us that given Nigeria experiences that led to the overthrow of the parliamentary system in 1996, but we now need to have a strong president, a strong center. And so they move away from the parliamentary system to presidential system. And they enumerated how beautiful the American system is. And so here we are. If people, for whatever reason, and these are not things that are done by people carrying sticks, people carrying green leaves, this has to be done by people who are really seasoned and who are knowledgeable about those issues. Now, what has the 1999 Constitution do with the fact of wealth subsidy? What has it going to do with the fact that somebody is hungry? If you change overnight, assume it's about changing from NEPA to generator, will that bring food on the table? No. Those canvassing these views, I was clear, are not those guys who are hungry. I saw a young man in Plateau, and I was excited that young man, we shouldn't be more than 22, 25. And he looked like a graduate, by the way, listening to his language. He said, we have spoken. We don't want this to get out of hand after the first day. I believe the president has listened. Now, the second question is about the president's speech. I commend wholeheartedly, from the bottom of my heart, the patience of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the way in which he addressed those issues. Now, let me explain why.
All right.
He tried to, first, he acknowledged that there is hardship in the country. He didn't dismiss it. It's important that a leader acknowledge the legitimacy of what people are saying. However, he said, I have listened. I have heard you. A leader, a father who is talking to children who are crying. My children, I have heard you. I have listened. Stop crying. I will do something. There is no, if today I am the president, if today, Dr. Abati, you are qualified to be president, you are faced overnight with those numbers. I say, we are hungry today. What do you do today? In any case, the immediate thing the president has to do, which some of us don't even agree to.
All right.
We now have to see governors, president commissioning distribution of rice. I would like to see commissioning of industrial, of factories that will provide job. Commissioning return to agriculture. But the government of President Tinubu had to resort to what they now call palliatives, which has become a huge source of scandal in many states.
Yes, Senator, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
I think a number of things that, hearing from your response to the first question, is that there might be a mix of those who hijacked the protest and the people who actually went out to peacefully protest. Because for those people, it wasn't a regime change in particular they were looking at. And with regards to their demands, that was the number one. Hunger, featured prominently on the list of what people wanted the president to tackle. In fact, in some cases, it was called the hunger protests. So that didn't have a conversation around regime change. Cost of living crisis, insecurity were issues that were raised with regards to why people were going out to protest. So saying that it was just particularly about ending a regime is not factual, it's not accurate. Then with regards to who are those who were the leaders, if you look at Occupy Nigeria, who were the leaders of Occupy Nigeria? There are similarities here because there were many figures whose faces were, in front of that protest, but not many people who came out to say that they're the ones who were in charge of fronting or consulted with the people to come out with demands. The people had a shared challenge and shared purpose, and they came out to protest, which was the same thing that happened. And so coming back to what you said, as a comrade yourself who exploited the opportunity and the constitutional provision for peaceful protests, it's interesting to hear you now say that what they were saying was, people shouldn't have come out for an end of regime. That wasn't really the thing, because Senator Oshiomhole, are Nigerians hungry? The level of poverty, has it increased since Occupy Nigeria protests, where our situation is not worse now than they were then? Do you think people are justified to come out to peacefully protest, not to necessarily remove the government of the day, but to express themselves and to have their voices heard?
Ayo, thank you very much. I watch you every day, and I have the opportunity to engage with you today. You've been doing a fantastic job. I don't always agree with your views, but that is what makes democracy rich and robust, and we must defend it, the right to differ. Your evaluation with due respect, with profound respect, is wrong. As the Yorubas, my part of the country, Edo people will say, and I think Abiola of blessed memory popularizes, that when you see some birds dancing on the highway, the drummers are not far from the bush. Without those drummers, those birds will not dance. Now, it is not about whether there is hunger. I said so. If the president acknowledges it, who are you and I to deny it? That is not the issue. The issue is the people use what they see as what everybody can feel. And why do you think, Ayo, that President Tinubu resorted to giving state government 570 billion naira to do quick win palliatives? Why has it become suddenly? In my days, I don't know how many times President Obasanjo, when I was NSC president, went to buy rice to distribute to Nigerians. He said, well, I should go and farm, which is the legitimate thing to do. But this government, realizing the pains and so on, has had to resort to these measures in the short run. In the long run, it has to be that we produce what we eat and we eat what we produce. But this cannot be decreed by 10 days protesters. The president has spoken. Why I said it is not legitimate, and I have no question about that. At no time in my protest history did I demand that there should be regime change. If I see politicians try to hijack by their comments and so on, I was always quick to say, look, we are not here to change the policymaker. We are here to, excuse me, Ayo, you have to harass me.
Yes, I'm just
that's the problem.
Because that's the question I asked you. Who asked
they are faceless. And I said, understand me. No. The point, my summary, you didn't take note of it. And I want to repeat it again.
Please go ahead.
When you have an amorphous group, unknown faces, now you refer to Occupy Nigeria. I saw people like a pastor who had contested for vice president with
Pastor Bakare.
He was a pastor in Lagos. I can't remember his name readily now.
Pastor Tunde Bakare.
Bakare. Yes. And you will recall when I was in NLC, not only is my face known, we share platform with Professor Wole Soyinka now at 90. I'm happy he's aging gracefully, and God will continue to bless him and give him good health. I share platform with Femi Falana. I share platform with Beko Rasomkuti or something like that, one of the Bekos who was very active, a medical doctor.
Yes.
And I remember one occasion on the front of Alausa, Ganifa Emi collapsed in the course of addressing workers. So these are Nigerians that are known. They have responsibility.
But sir, EIE
He
Nigeria
spoke
came out.
for
Sir,
human rights.
Sir,
Wait, he spoke for anger.
I just want to just challenge that point.
In this occasion,
Yes,
excuse
sir.
me.
I just
even
want to...
the name, excuse me.
Yes,
You
okay.
can challenge anything, but you must listen to my point.
I've listened.
No. This is meant to be an engagement. You know, a question, excuse me, a question cannot be as long as the answer. The answer must be longer than the question. Check yours when you were a student. When they ask you one question, you use pages to answer it. So give me the time, because Nigeria need to understand why a man who lived my background refused to acknowledge that a peaceful protest can be used for regime change. I emphasize regime change because I understand the logic. I led from the front. These people you are measuring, I don't know them. If I don't know them...
You don't know EIE Nigeria?
I don't know their faces. And I am happy that, listen, excuse me?
You don't know EIE Nigeria? Take it back, Nigeria.
Now, it was a take back Nigeria. I said, who has occupied Nigeria? In fact, this was the one that suggests that people wanted regime change. When they say we want to reclaim Nigeria, I said, is Nigeria currently under foreign authority? Is Tinubu not a Nigerian? The southwest he come from, is it not part of Nigeria? Who is that guy? Who are those groups who wants to reclaim Nigeria for Nigeria? And excuse me, all the names you mention here, I listen attentively. I don't even know if I don't know some of these faces. At no time did they sat on a common platform to say this is who we are. Excuse me, the business of governance is not a tea party. And when I saw people say Tinubu, excuse me, because at the heart of the question by Ruben was President Tinubu's response appropriate? I say yes. What was summarized?
Okay, comrade.
I have heard you.
Comrade,
I have listened.
Comrade.
I am open to dialogue.
Comrade.
Even that one, I saw people saying, set up a panel to negotiate. To negotiate with people who are in Washington, people who don't know their address.
Comrade.
You may know them.
Comrade.
I don't know them.
Yes. Comrade.
Yes.
This is
Yes,
Rufai.
sir.
This is Rufai
Sir.
speaking.
Sir.
Rufai speaking. Yes.
Oh, Rufai, how are you?
Very well. Morning, sir. Comrade, let's
Thank
be
you, sir.
truthful in Nigeria. Because I see we lack a lot of truth, and that's why our lives are never going to be better as a country. The day we start to speak the
On
truth...
both sides, yes. Truth is constant. You can't defeat the truth. And that's why I have the courage to speak my mind.
Let me learn, comrade. You are saying today that when you people went out for Occupy Nigeria in 2012,